Hello, my friends, and welcome back. Thank you very much for being with me again today. I claimed many times, I made this statement, or in the form of a question, even though the answer is clear, to me at least. Who is in charge of the United States' foreign policy? Who is the foreign minister? On the paper is Marco Rubio. In reality is Steve Witkoff Stein. Now, these two guys representing the United States of America, a Jewish guy and a Cuban guy, which I'm okay, all right? They go to Paris. They go to Paris to meet their counterparts. I will explain who Witkoff is. I will explain who Rubio is. They go to France right now to slap France around. Witkoff is going to meet Macron, the president, and Rubio is going to meet his counterpart. I will show you. That makes that Rubio counterpart, France's president, his counterpart, Witkoff. That's the first topic of this video. The second, Right. The second topic of this video is Russia gives an ultimatum to the West, which is the ultimatum. It is reported by two agencies here, which I'm going to use New Voice of Ukraine, a Ukrainian one, and then the other one, Russia Today, a Russian one. I'm going to show you the details of the Naryshkin and Lavrov's ultimatum. So they together give the West an ultimatum. I got to tell you that this ultimatum was issued over and over and over again for many years. But these guys were like, ping, ding, ding, ding. Why? They had other plans. All right, so let's start with the first topic. The real Secretary of State of the United States of America goes to Paris, and that's not Rubio. Ukrinform. Here is the guy. Witkoff to discuss war in Ukraine with Macron in Paris. I thought he was a special agent or something. President Donald Trump, special envoy, Steve Witkoff. Do you know special envoy to what? So Mr. Witkoff, just so you know, he's Donald Trump, United States of America, State Department's special envoy to the Middle East. Neither Russia nor Ukraine are part of the Middle East. So, or friends, why is he going over there? Why is he even involved in this? Because he is the guy in charge. It's not Rubio. Rubio is busy with, El Salvador, foreign, MS-13. That's what Rubio is busy with. Not with it, okay? He's given his little room in our like caveman's, in a room in the house somewhere, and the wife is the boss of the house. That's Witkoff for you. A certain man would understand exactly what I said. Maybe the younger generation, younger people will not understand what it is. The man's having his cave in the garage or somewhere else, in the shed, and the woman has the house, so she needs his money for her status. Anyway, let's move on and see what this guy is going to talk. He talks to Macron right there, and will visit Paris later this week. Remember, Steve Witkoff is the first name mentioned. President Donald Trump's special envoy, along with U.S. Secretary of State Marco Rubio. It's not the other way around. It's Steve Witkoff is the first one. Again, Witkoff is scheduled to meet the French President Emmanuel Macron, while Rubio will speak with the French counterpart, Foreign Minister Jean-Noël Barrot. Okay, so French counterpart. I can't make it clearer for everyone. The implication is this guy is above him. Witkoff speaks with the president. You can say, well, no. I mean, what do you want? Do you want the foreign minister, the Secretary of State, Rubio, to speak with Macron? He speaks with the office. Then why is Witkoff talking to Macron? Why is not Rubio talking to both of them? Can't he do the same thing? Whistle and walk? Or whatever? What are they going to talk? They're going to talk about Ukraine. What does that tell you? What does that tell you? Oh, here. Next one. Ukrainska Pravda. U.S. Secretary of State and Trump's special envoy to the Middle East to attend talks in Paris. Ukraine will be discussed. Boss, semi-boss. Anyway, when you have a page, let me just give you this insight. We in the Western civilization and most of the world, we read from left to right. And when we make when we enumerate the participants to an important summit, we start always with the most important. Remember, when you have a movie and you have the cast, usually the most important comes first, or the last as a mention of something, because they didn't know who to put, Brad Pitt or, I don't know, Matt Damon or something. They didn't know who to put, or sometimes they put them both in the same time. Boom, like for instance, what's his name? Charles Bronson in Once Upon a Time in the West. Charles Bronson and what's his name? I can't remember his goddamn name. His stupid child, whatever her name, went to the one with aerobics, went to Vietnam and was with Viet Cong, whatever her name is. Nancy Sinatra, not Nancy Sinatra. God damn it, is another baboon. Anyway, so in this case, you read from left to right, usually, or in alphabetical order. Either way you want to read this one right here, W comes after R in my alphabet, and from left to right, this is the first one, this is the add-on, this is the sidekick, this is the real guy. I want to look at this. I mean, this is everything I told you is evidence. Everything I said. I mean, anyway, sometimes you can say, well, you know what? The soprano doesn't enter the scene in the first act. It's true that. So that means Rubio. But remember, counterparts. U.S. Secretary Papa and Steve will travel to Paris. Again, he is mentioned here first, as he should be. In Paris to travel to hold talks on Ukraine, among other topics. And again, the political sources familiar with the preparations for the visit reported Witkoff, his first, will meet with French President Emmanuel Macron, while Rubio will meet with French, again, counterpart. Okay, and they will also talk about Iran. During the visit, they plan to discuss Ukraine, Iran, and trade issues in the context of Donald Trump's tariff war. Then they came over there to tell them, you better put out or we're gonna smack you around, basically. And let me show you the last one on this topic. New Voice of Ukraine, Rubio, first one, and Witkoff to visit France, Ukraine to be among topics. Let's see if these guys are saying again, U.S. Special Representative. They start with this guy. U.S. is special. Why is he special? Because they're special, that's why, of course. And again, all right, then we'll hold talks. All right, I think they go over there to tell the Frenchies, as these guys say here, you know what, hold your horses, we can queue up. I got the big guy here. I got the Zelensky-Stein, Witkoff-Stein. He's going to take care of you, Macron, in a second. He's going to push some buttons, and you're out of office yesterday. I think he's just the scaring the boogeyman of Rubio or the United States of America. And Mr. Witkoff, I suspect, is going to do certain dealings for his country. You know what his country is? Can you guess? All right. I mean, come on. I worked here for how many minutes to make you understand that? Whose country he really is. Now, New Voice of Ukraine. Let's look over the ultimatums. New Voice of Ukraine. Ultimatums from Lavrov and Naryshkin reveal Russia's true war goals. Yes, and they've been saying this for at least 3 years. And this is the not trustworthy Institute for the Study of War. Their associate, Kimberly Kagan, is the president. She's Jewish. He's married with Mr. Kagan, Jewish, who is brother with another Mr. Kagan, Jewish. And then the other Kagan, is married to Victoria Nuland. So this is an enterprise. But we have Witkoff as well. And we have Zelensky as well. And everything is about Ukraine. Interesting, man. No? Okay, it's just me. Because, I'm a baboon. You know what this is right here? I don't know how many you remember with the Soviet flag bearer, whatever, by Brandenburg Tor, the gate of Brandenburg in Berlin. After Berlin was overwhelmed by the Allies and the Soviet Union, our gallant ally. That's how they called him. It was a Soviet She was not trafficking. Trafficking. Here I am. No, directing traffic. And you should see it. It's on YouTube. And they said, I can't remember what the name of her. So this is just another, for people who know anything about it. I'm guessing, otherwise you guys are baboons. Here we go. Vladimir Putin's top allies are doubling down on extreme demands. There were the initial demands for Ukraine to surrender territory and sovereignty. The Institute for the Study of War reported on Institute for the Study of War Analysts noted that immediately after the April 11 meeting between Russian dictator, but he's elected and Zelensky is not, whatever, his term expired, Putin and Steve Witkoff, the U.S. Trump's special envoy to the Middle East, Russia, the U.S. Special Envoy in the Middle East. Thank you, God damn it. Thank you very much. You got it? But this is New Voice of Ukraine. In this right here, they didn't say about that. They just said, no, special representative right here, Witkoff, nothing about that. And the other one, again, Ukrainians. Again, this is just a Witkoff. Where is he? Right there. Pa, and trapa. And if you want the first one, again, Ukraine form is from the Ukrainians, President Donald Trump envoy. The reality, as I said, is this. His special envoy to the Middle East. Two top figures from Putin's inner circle, from his government. What I talk about, inner circle, his buddies. Is that how you say when Biden was around? From his, those are Biden's men, from Biden's inner circle? Or they were the government, the U.S. government. Why? You try to destroy the authority of a state by naming them differently than actually their positions are. Putin is a dictator, is a strong man, and Vladimir Zelensky is the greatest hero Moses had. All right, let's move on. All right, what do we have here? From an inner circle restarted the Kremlin's quote-unquote unacceptable demands for resolving the war in Ukraine. Unacceptable and non-negotiable. These demands first laid out by Putin in June 2024. That's a lie. But hey, these are Institute for the Study of War analysts. So it was first laid out by Putin in 2024. That's not true. Call for regime change in Ukraine. This is the interpretation. Major territorial concessions from Kiev, all right, and long-term restrictions on Ukraine's armed forces. So let me translate this for you. Call for regime change. The guys over there are illegitimate because of the overthrowing of a government legitimate in 2014 of Viktor Yanukovych, democratically elected. Regime change. These guys are considered with certain ideologies. All right, major territorial concessions. That is, they voted because you were killing them, Kiev, after that coup organized by traitors from Ukraine and with the help of foreign agencies from Kiev, and long-term restrictions on Ukrainian armed forces, neutrality and no NATO. This is neutrality. Why? You have to abide by the 1994 Budapest Memorandum, which was signed by the Americans as well, by the Brits, by the Ukrainians, and by the Russians, stating that Ukraine will be neutral. We're going to take your weapons, or nuclear weapons, which are not yours, give it to me, and then what's going on after that? You'll be neutral. In 2014, that neutrality was broken. Actually, verbally was broken in 2008 at the Bucharest NATO summit, when the baboon George W. Bush said, one day we're going to invite Ukraine and Georgia to be NATO member states. And Putin was like, what are you talking about? That's exactly what it was. And then what happened? They tried with Georgia in 2008 with Mr. Saakashvili. Remember the guy eating his with tie? Again, he was activated, and I think he activated himself too early. Again, with the American advisors around him and training troops. And anyway, you remember that one in 2008? Again, it was Russia's aggression in South Ossetia and Abkhazia. No, it wasn't. These guys attacked, not those guys. The peacekeeping troops of Russia, legal peacekeeping troops of Russia in South Ossetia. It was not like occupation. It was agreed by Ossetia, I think, wasn't it? Wasn't it Ossetia? Anyway, European safety something, Organization of Safety and Security of European garbage. So there you go. Now we have these guys. They told you this many times before. And let's see what exactly they said. On April 14, 15, Russian Foreign Intelligence Services Sergei Naryshkin, and Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov, now these are the titles, correct, reported these terms. Naryshkin claimed, and I'm quoting, any future peace deal should include Ukrainian neutrality. That is according to 1994 Budapest Memorandum, broken by 2014 illegal, bloody coup organized. Demilitarization, you can't be trusted. That's it. We're going to take your weapons away, like Japan and Germany after the Second World War. And denazification, claiming that Bandera was this and that and he cooperated with the Nazis, and you build all kind of monuments. That state is not, how should I put it, there's not private individuals liking, Stepan Bandera. No, it's the government who builds those monuments to celebrate Bandera. Bandera cooperated with the Nazis, and then you got the Volyn massacre. How many Poles? About 200,000 now, they say. In about 5 years, there are going to be 50 million Poles killed in there. Crime. It was undeniable. So, you know what I mean? The repeal of the Ukrainian laws that allegedly discriminate against Russian speakers, they are. But these are the analysts from the Institute for the Study of War, and recognition of Russia's illegal annexation of entire territories of Luhansk, Donetsk, Zaporozhye, and Kherson Oblast, as well as Crimea. Question for you. What is democracy? Democracy is the will of the people. So you have a gathering of people and say, okay, we are going to go left or we are going to go right. We're going to vote. And they said we're going to go right. All right? In this case, left towards Russia. That's democracy. Right? Now, if these guys, this is the baboonish thing that they try to give in your head. They say, no, it was conducted at a gunpoint and these guys knew better how to vote. And I make this claim. The Russians did not have to do that. Why? Because they counted the vote. You don't have to make them vote the way, put over there Gigi, put that over, you want to go with Gigi. No, you can put over there Mikey. When I take the vote, I said, you voted for Gigi, thank you very much. Whoop. And tell the world, the people voted for Gigi, not for Mikey. So this is another thing that these guys are playing with the world, because the world, people in general, are not busy understanding the dynamics. The dynamics, these things happen, and will happen. Not in democracies where we vote with electronic voting machines for two selected people that we don't like anyway. They don't they don't even get to the bar of being leaders. But anyway, that's democracy in the West. Controlled. Witkoff. Right there. So again, this is what these guys say. Lavrov added that the Ukraine current government was allegedly, quote-unquote, unconstitutional and claimed Russia cannot abandon Russian-speaking people in the occupied territories of Ukraine, following the fake and illegal referendums staged by Moscow in 4 Ukrainian oblasts in fall 2022. Now, question. Why is Kosovo's independence more legitimate than these territories voting referendum or referenda? Because it was more than one. Why? First, NATO created a country in Europe from another country with ethnic. And then who voted? The parliament of that ethnic group that voted for Kosovo's independence. Not even the people. So their representatives voted. Here it was direct democracy, direct referendum. So which one is a little bit more, and you don't like the outcome, that's a different story. But the process, and yes, in Kosovo, there were no people over there counting the votes, and no people with interest, nothing. Only in Russia. Why? Are we ascribing something to the Russian people in general? A bad attribute? We can't do that. That would get us into the racism and xenophobia. So we can't do that. Oh, we can in this case? All right, so this is it. Following the fake and illegal referendum. There are no secrets about Russia's conditions, Lavrov said. No, they're not. But these guys said the whole article that's doubling down and is like news shit. Finally reveal Russia's true war goals. What do you mean the Institute for the Study of War? That's a lie. Right there. This is exactly right here. There are no secrets about Russia's conditions, Lavrov said, pointing to the Kremlin's call to eliminate the so-called root cause. So-called. These guys are just ignoring reality. It's like, oh, I'm gonna bake a cake, but I'm not gonna use the recipe. I'm gonna ignore the recipe, and I'm gonna put, I don't know, manure and salt and, I don't know, spaghettis, and I'm waiting. My God, this is not a cake. Of course it's not a cake, because the things, ingredients that you put over there, you ignore the real ones. The same here, the so-called root causes. Yes, the root causes was NATO coming towards us, and we feel threatened, and we told you. It was not us coming towards you, you were coming towards me, grabbing, and now we smack you, and we are the aggressors. And our demands is the end of the line. We tried to discuss this in 2021, didn't we? What did you say? Go and play your violin at a different table. We're busy here taking over your country. Pretty soon. God damn it, it's so clear. Anyway, and let's go to the last one, which comes from Russia Today. The same thing. Russian spy chief names conditions for Ukraine peace. Kiev recognitions of the new borders of Russia and its non-nuclear and neutral status are essential for a settlement. This is what do you want now? Right there. And it's the same thing they are. In September 2022, Russian officials have long viewed NATO's expansion towards its borders as a direct threat to national security and considered Ukraine's potential membership as a red line. The United States of America has red lines. Following the Western-backed coup in Kiev in 2014, Crimea joined Russia after a public referendum with 4 other former Ukrainian regions following its suit in 2022. Ukraine has never recognized the vote. Okay, all right, I got it. But don't say that, the NATO membership or NATO doesn't have anything. Oh my God, no. The conditions of peace agreement include certainly the non-nuclear neutral status of Ukraine, the demilitarization and denazification of Ukraine's state, and the repeal of all discriminatory laws adopted after the coup d'etat in 2014. Things like this were told over and over and over again. They knew it. The Americans knew it. Everybody knew it. They ignored it. Why? Their interest was, we need to get here. We're going to get you in this. Do you think that these guys did not celebrate when who I'm talking about celebrating? Certain chancelleries. When the Russians invaded unprovoked Ukraine in the 24th of February 2022, do you think they did not celebrate? They bring the good champagne and the Cuban cigars. Why? Because their sponsors, their campaign donors, are going to make a lot of money, which are big banking interest, financial interest. Second one, military-industrial complex. And the third one, the energy sector. Gas, oil, coal. What do you want? Liquefied natural gas is sold by the Americans into Europe, because Europe doesn't buy the cheap natural gas from Russia, because the boss said, oh, you got to impose sanctions on yourselves. So it's clear? Capisci? All right, thank you very much for being with me again today. Stay strong, stay smart, look for the truth, and be just.